And the next part of the presentation we're going to talk about is creating media advisories. So we're not going to pay attention to this right now. Question. By show of hands, how many people have ever written an invitation? Party invitations. What's the goal of the invitation? Get people to come. So that invitation also has some key elements. Can someone name those key elements? We're not looking at this. Who, the what, the when, the where. Right. So that's pretty much what a media advisory is. But the invitation that you're sending to party guests, you want them to come to the party. So the invitation is like a little teaser to give them a heads up of what's to come. That's the same thing we do with our media advisory. It's a teaser for the media to come and cover the event. We also, we already said the basic information of who, what, when, where, why, and how, and the strong opening statement. Now, for an invitation, let's say a kid's birthday party, the cover of the invitation is SpongeBob. The inside says who, what, when, where, why. We can look at the invitation and see SpongeBob and know that we want to come to this party or bring our kids to this party because they love SpongeBob. So that's the same thing in our statement or our opening sentence for our media advisory. The headline has to be strong. So let's make that our picture. How do we get the people to come? If you look at the handouts, in the handout folder, there's two samples of media advisory. There's an incorrect one and a correct one. And if you look at the incorrect sample, it says special guest visits Kenmore Middle School. Now that's so vague. Special guest visits Kenmore Middle School. Who's the special guest? What are they coming to do? It doesn't give me a, you know, like I really want to come and cover this event. But if you flip the page over, on the correct sample, everyone's with me, know where I am on these two sheets? It says, sister of 1963 church bombing victim shares experiences with Kenmore Middle School. So which one would you want to come to? The one that says special guest coming to the school, or the one that says the sister? You have a visual now. You know who's coming. You know what she's going to talk about, or you have an idea of what she's going to talk about. So if we just keep looking at the handout, this is just the same information here, but I'm going to show it to you actually on the handout. So the first line is the headline. The second part of the media advisory lists the who, the what, the when, and the where. So who is the Kenmore Middle School students, what, the centerpiece of Civil Rights Act of 1964, when, Tuesday, February 11th, 9:30 to 12:30, and the where, Kenmore Middle School. Now flip over and look at the correct sample of the same section that I just talked about and tell me what's different. You want to make sure that when you're doing the who, what, when, where, you give all information possible. So on the incorrect sample, I say Kenmore Middle School. On the correct sample, what other information do I give with Kenmore? The address. So you want to make it easy for them. You don't want them to have to go and look for the information or find the address on their own. The background information. Let's look at the incorrect sample. In celebration of African American History Month, Kenmore Middle School students and staff will have the opportunity to speak with Miss E. Diane Braddock. Braddock, a retired Prince George's County Public School principal, will share her experiences, artifacts, and memories. What's missing from that background information when we're talking about who, what, when, where, why? Who is she? Why is she coming? What is she coming to talk to the students about? We want to paint a picture. We want to paint a visual to get them to come and cover the event. So you look at the correct sample. It says, in celebration of African American History Month, Kenmore Middle School students and staff will have the opportunity to speak with Mrs. E. Diane Braddock. Braddock is the sister of Carol Robinson, one of the 4 girls killed in a church bombing in Birmingham, Alabama in 1963. So now we have more information. We're painting a picture for them. We can visualize her coming, talking to the students, sharing her experiences. And then we give a brief background of what actually happened in 1963 at the church bombing. Also, when you're doing the media advisories, you want to have some contact information. So if there are questions, follow-up questions, or anything that the media wants to know or ask, your information is listed. So we could end this with, for further information, contact X, Y, and Z at this number. But if you look at the top right-hand corner where it says contact, this is our office contact. So your name will go here. your email address and your phone number will go there for them to contact you for further information. Sure.
Us generally, I mean specifically, or the school?
Well, it would be the person generating the media advisory. So if you're sending it out and you want to put the person who has the most information about the event. Don't put your principal's name, then they call your principal, and then she'll transfer them to you. You just put your name, and they can contact you directly.
It's a PTA event, PTA contact.
Right, and if it's a PTA event, you put the PTA contact. Whoever has the most information about the event. Be courteous and let them know that you are putting them on the document so they won't start getting all these calls and wondering where they're coming from. Okay, any more questions so far on that much of the media advisory?
The template that's used, a correct sample, that's on the Office of Communications website?
Yes. How many of you are familiar with the share the good news items? When you click on, if you're having an activity or a special event at your school, it says click here. It's listed in our daily dispatch, and it's also on the website on the left. So when you click there, these are the questions that we ask. Who, what, when, where, why. And that's you giving us the information on your event, and then we take that information and put it into this format. There's a description part too, I believe, and that's where you can put all the background information of the event, and we'll word it as such. Sometimes we have to call to get more information because people, if you leave a lot of the detailed information out for us to actually make it sound newsworthy. Example that I always use when I talk to the teachers and the principals about events: the muffins for moms and the cookies for cousins and the donuts for dads. So what? Everyone, it's lovely, it's nice, everyone does that. So it's nothing that's setting your school apart from the next school. Now, if there was an initiative tied to it, where you're trying to increase parental involvement in the school, okay, then we can do that. But just to have donuts for dads and have dads come out, or muffins for moms, all our schools do that. So you want to try to make sure that your school is different, or you're setting yourself apart from the other schools to make sure that your event is newsworthy and it will catch the attention of the media, and they'll come out and cover your event. Any questions so far on that? Another thing, if you notice at the bottom of the media advisory, there's a 30. Some use 3 hashtags. And this is just an indication to the media that this is the end of the media advisory. So you always want to put this at the bottom to let them know that it's nothing else coming after, meaning another page or more words. If there is a second page to your media advisory, you will put more in place of where the number 30 is. And that will let you know that it's another page, page 2. Because if you're faxing this information and they may not get all the facts, if you're sending 2 copies, they may get 1 and notice that there's nothing at the bottom and know that there's more information. So they may contact you for the rest of the information. But make sure you always end the media advisory with the 30 or 3 hashtags to let them know that it's over, it's complete, we have nothing more to say at the end of this. You understand what I'm saying? Talk the 30 at the bottom. Okay.
We send it to the Office of Communications like that. You still need to put the 30 at the end.
No. This is the actual writing part of it. When you send it to us, you're sending the who, what, when, where, why, and this information. Then we put it in this format. But if you are writing them, they're going to be writing the media advisories essentially for themselves, for their own school, then we would have this template for you, and you would put the 30 at the bottom, indicating that this is the end of the media advisory, to let the journalists know that that's it.
So you're going to send the template to the school?
The templates, we're going to have them posted.
Or post them. You can download them. Yes.
Yeah, post it online. Any more questions on that? Another key thing is, just really quick, in the who, a lot of times you guys have events at your school and you invite board members, you invite elected officials, and that's something key that you want to mention in the who section. And there's a hierarchy of how you would list them. Your elected officials will go first, and then the principal's name would go, and then you can do the name of the school that you're having the event at. So you want to put all that information in the who section because it lets the media know, what elected officials are going to be there. They may want to come, and that's a way of getting them there too to cover the event. You don't want to leave anybody out.
And that information in terms of protocol, that's in here somewhere too?
We will have that listed as to the hierarchy of how to list the who. Yes.
Part of the protocol and so forth is also on the 24th when we talk about event planning and so forth. We include that and make it really clear from the state down to the local level how and who.
Let's add the introduction there. We'll edit it out. So you can submit to us your format things to our website. However, it's great if you, like Siobhan said, you use this for your school level because you might have reporters that you work with at your school that we don't know about. It'd be great to send these out to your own groups, even your own subscription services for your school, to get that advertised. And when it's more formally presented, like the media has a tendency to believe it's more a worthy event to attend. And getting the media there for your good news stuff is really, really important to rebrand and change the perception about your school.
Now, ex-Max stated some of the schools and the principals have their own relationships with the media. However, do not leave us out. Even though you may contact them directly and get them to cover your event, we're like home. We're home base. So we want to know about these events too, so we can get our TV crews out. We can come out and cover it, do pictures, and you can land that spot on the home page. That every school wants to have one of those rotating stories on the front page of the web. So just don't forget to leave to let us know about the events.
How far in
Yes, I'm coming to that. Thank you. So another thing is with the sharing of the good news, in order for us to properly plan for events and make sure that you have coverage at your events, we can't know that the event is happening the day of the event. We can't know that the event is happening the day before the event. The media likes to plan, and so do we. So we try to send the media advisories out at least 3 to 5 days before the event for planning purposes. Now, sometimes something comes up, may fall through the crack that we deem as newsworthy, and we'll try to push it out. In cases like that, we'll pick up the phone and call the media directly to try to pitch the story to them to come out to cover the event. But in a perfect world, 3 to 5 days, planning. We're small in number in our office, dealing with 200 some odd schools, so we want to get the TV crew out, we want to get the photographer out, just enough time. That's one of the things that I noticed. The events are great, but we get them so late, and then we get post events. So we'll get emails that say, oh, this happened last week. Oh, why didn't you tell us about it 2 weeks ago so we can come out and cover it? So I want to keep that in mind. The timeliness of information is key and very important to get proper coverage, or the coverage that you want at the event. We don't want to do last minute coverage. So any questions on how to write the media advisory, which is like the invitation, the teaser to get the media to come out and cover your event? Pretty simple. If you write invitations to get people to come to parties, you should be able to write a media advisory to get your journalists to come out and cover your event. I see yeses and smiley faces, so I think I've done a great job, and I'm going to take my seat. Uh-oh, question.
I guess this is just about volume. About how many events do you all cover on an average basis a week?
TV, how many events do you all cover on average?
It depends on the week, to be honest with you. But I mean, we're obviously from television. You're looking for something that's visually stimulating.
Right.
That it tells a story with video. Kids just sitting in the classroom isn't something that is gonna there's different stories, and so a lot of times when there's a good storyteller, Kenmore, when she's telling, we're already planning that one is a large piece that we do sometimes because that's something kind of unique and tells a really neat story. So that's what we're looking for is the really unique, neat stories that need to be told that maybe from Fox 5 or NBC4 wouldn't have time to come or wouldn't deem it, but for us it's a great story to tell.
Okay, Birgit.
Siobhan, what about submitting photos to you directly?
I don't think we have it set up to where you can actually put the photo into the Google thing. thing. But if you have an event, a post event that's already happened and you want us to cover it, you can still send the information through those channels, the good news, and then you can send me a photo. But then there's a news release section that Quan is going to talk about briefly that's also on there where you can upload your photo and send like a brief write-up of what the event was. Because we do like to put up stories about things that have happened in your school, but still think of media and timeliness. We don't want to put anything up that happened months ago. Within a couple weeks, if it's something that we've missed or you forgot to tell us about. Yes?
When an article is submitted to you guys, do you respond to say whether or not you're going to run it, or if it never runs, then the person that submitted just assume that it just wasn't?
There should be an automatic response on that now that says that thank you for the sending the information, but everything does not get published. However, we also have a hierarchy in the office of news. So certain things get certain type of coverage. So just because you may not see it in one of the most visible places, like on the front page of the web, in the Daily Dispatch, it doesn't mean that it didn't go anywhere. We use the social media. We may tweet it. We may put it on Facebook. We may put it in Education Matters. So it's different avenues of publicizing the events that we use other than the main. Everyone looks to think that everything belongs on the front page of the website. We don't want to overcrowd the website, so we have other avenues.
When those other avenues are utilized, the person that submitted it, would they know when it's going to be on?
That's something that we're going to probably have to say that, hey, we didn't use it here, but you could check it out here. But I mean, everybody gets the Daily Dispatch, right? And I hope that you're reading the Daily Dispatch, and I hope that it's a good tool to get information and good news and find out stuff that's going on in the school. So sometimes we try to put links at the bottom. If you look at the bottom of the Daily Dispatch, it's an area that says PGCPS in the news, and that's where we put a lot of the articles, and we'll link it directly to the article.
If you signed up for Education Matters yourself, the newsletter, a lot of stuff goes to Education Matters. That's 10,000 people that subscribe to it from outside school system. It's probably got delivery.
Yes, Education Matters goes out every day, and Daily Dispatch. Daily Dispatch is more of an in-house tool. It goes to all of our employees. But Education Matters goes to some employees and to a lot of our constituents outside of the school system, parents, community members, etc. You was going to say something, Barry? Okay. I'm going to follow up with you because I take it that you sent something that I didn't put up somewhere. So we're going to check. Okay, we're going to check that out. I felt it. We're going to talk about that. Any other questions?